If you've been hiking, skiing, or climbing, there's a chance you've seen these brands. While all of these brands are popular, there is one brand in particular that most people know about. A brand primarily targeting climbers somehow managed to successfully enter its way into the fashion industry. And that brand is Arcteryx. Now, Arcteryx has built itself to become one of the best companies to grab gear from. But that begs the question, how did Arcteryx achieve this? What did they do differently from other companies that made them stand out from the rest? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We'll be looking at the history of Arcteryx and seeing exactly how Arcteryx became what it is today. Now, to see how it became what it is today, we need to go back to the creation of Arcteryx and why it was made in the first place. To do that, we need to go back to 1989 North Vancouver, where a chap named Dave Lane decided to create a company called Rock Solid. And he created this company for the funniest reasons. He felt that the current climbing gear available was poor and believed he could design and build better products for himself and others, which he did, creating climbing harnesses and chalk bags in its initial stages, and over time making other things. Now, we need to fast forward to 1991, where Rock Solid was finally rebranded to what we know as Arcteryx, where they changed the logo to the iconic Arcteryx fossil that we all know and love. Whilst Arcteryx created many things in its lifespan, there were three that stood out during its early stages: the Vapor Harness, the Boro Backpack, and finally the Alpha SV. While these three are essential to the company, the one that still holds up to this day is the Alpha SV. Created back in 1998, Arcteryx partnered up with Gore-Tex, a company that created its own material which is waterproof, breathable, and windproof. And they managed to do this by layering up 5 different pieces. They layered up by using a soft inner liner first, protection next, then the Gore-Tex membrane, another layer of protection, and finally the resistant shell on the outside. When you put it all together, you get Gore-Tex, which allows it to possess these traits. What made the Alpha SV special was that it was revolutionary. Not only that, it was designed for climbers and built by climbers. With its clean design, it became one of the most popular jackets that Arcteryx has ever made. And over time, different designs and variations of the Alpha SV were released, such as the Beta and the Zeta. This was the most important moments in Arcteryx's history. The Alpha SV literally nearly bankrupted them. They hoped that this would propel the company to greater heights, which, fortunately, it did. During this time, Arcteryx was extremely niche and not very well known. So, they decided to branch out with the use of collaborations. Are a nice way for both partners to get increased revenue and exposure. Arcteryx did this a lot, working with different brands like Leaf, Palace, Jill Sanders, and Beams. First, starting with Beams. Beams is a Japanese retailer known for their fashion designs and collaborations, working with unique and unknown brands creating amazing pieces of clothing. A highly respected brand around the world for introducing new fashion trends. Starting back in 2001, Beams collaborated with Arcteryx, creating unique designs for the Alpha SV that helped it appeal to the streetwear audience. The collaboration was a success, selling out very quickly and becoming Arcteryx's longest collaborator, creating new designs every year that becomes rare pieces of clothing that goes for ridiculous resale prices. Beams was the reason why Arcteryx became popular in Japan, and probably what catapulted Arcteryx to work with their new collaborator. In December 2020, Arcteryx worked with Palace, a London-based skateboard brand known for its London streetwear aesthetic targeting skateboarders. With this collaboration, Arcteryx was trying to close the bridge between outdoor clothing and streetwear fashion. Whilst Beams had the longest running collab with Arcteryx, the partnership with Palace had a bigger impact, as Palace was not only a skateboard brand, but during this time it was considered a hypebeast brand. With it being a bigger brand compared to Beams, it allowed Arcteryx to capitalize on a larger number of customers, With this new audience, they made the clothing more accessible to the younger audience, making beanies, hoodies, shirts, and naturally the Alpha SV is included. The partnership was very successful, where pieces would go over $1,000. However, it created doubt for the loyalists. They were concerned at the current direction that Arcteryx was going in. Instead of heading to the direction of focusing on alpinist and mountain climbing, they were trying to become something that they were not. During the midst of all of this, a trend was slowly growing.
This is where I grew up, so I'm going to teach you how to be Gorpcore, how to look like you're from the island.
Gorpcore is a fashion trend that began back in 2017. It's an acronym of Good Old Raisins and Peanuts, where it was a trend of wearing outdoor gear in a fashionable way. While it wasn't huge at the time, it was due to COVID where it started getting popular. During lockdown COVID, most people stayed indoors, which for some reason caused a huge influx of people doing outdoor activities. With more people doing outdoor activities, it increased the demand for functional gear, and the one company that most people went for was Arcteryx. And once lockdown was lifted, it was to a point where people didn't wear raincoats when it was raining, but instead put on their Arcteryx jacket. It was because of this that Amos Sports, the parent company of Arcteryx, noted that there was a 25% increase of revenue from 2020 to 2021. In 2021, a UK artist named YT made a song called Arcteryx, a very viral song that became a huge trend in TikTok, which triggered a domino effect of different trends that were all linked to Arcteryx. This further exposed the brand to a younger audience, me included, showing what Arcteryx is capable of, and the best way they showed it off was having a shower while I was wearing it, and just watching the water bead right off. Now, Arcteryx, despite it being linked to TikTok and Gorpcore, it has always been known for its core identity, an obsessive desire to always improve on their designs, quality, and performance of their gear. And they've shown this very clearly. Through their websites and social media, you won't see them reposting TikTok memes or streetwear influencers. Instead, you see world-class climbers, skiers, and alpinists pushing the limits in the harshest environments on Earth. That's what made Arcteryx so special. Even though many customers bought it and only use it in urban settings, they've never tried to change their brand to fit that side of the demographic, but solely focus on their one goal, which is the reason why it was created: to revolutionize outdoor gear. And it's one of the key reasons why they are one of the best companies, but that doesn't mean they always make the best gear out of everyone. There are other companies that excel in areas where Arcteryx don't, and it has caused debate on whether Arcteryx is truly the best company. But it's a fact that there are no companies that come to the same level as Arcteryx in terms of their versatility, designs, and their reputation. It's because of these reasons that everyone wants Arcteryx. Yes, the Gore-Tex, the durability, and the designs are a huge bonus, but they want it because wearing Arcteryx represents a lifestyle. When you see someone wearing that Fossil logo, your first thought is that person must do some sort of outdoor activity. And that's exactly how they built their company. They built an identity so strong, the world had no choice but to wear it.